All through the night, promise to see
Yahshua.
In the morning light, take my hand, it'll be alright. Come on, save your soul tonight. Thunder, all through the night, promise to see
Yahshua.
In the morning light, take my hand, it'll be alright. Come on, save your soul tonight.
It seems that the Bible, geology, and archaeology are all telling the same story. But skeptics, who would like to regard the Exodus as myth, might resist the idea that it actually happened, because this would imply that God does indeed exist. Believers, on the other hand, may feel that a scientific explanation of the biblical story takes God out of the equation.
God does not suspend nature. He manipulates it.
A frog is a cold-blooded animal, and humans are warm-blooded, so our body burns energy or perspires to maintain the same 98.6 degrees. The cold-blooded frog's body temperature goes up and down with the temperature of its surroundings.
If a frog jumps into a pot of boiling water, it jumps right out again because it senses the danger. But the very same frog, if it jumps into a pot of lukewarm water that is slowly brought to a boil, will just sit there and it won't move. It'll just sit there even as the temperature continues to go up and up. It'll stay there until
Now, it's true that no single event makes a trend. But the fact is, the 12 hottest years on record have all come in the last 50. Heat waves, droughts, wildfires, floods, all are now more frequent and more intense. We can choose to believe that Superstorm Sandy and the most severe drought in decades and the worst wildfires some states have ever seen were all just a freak coincidence. Or we can choose to believe in the overwhelming judgment of science and act before it's too late.
Hamptons, a canal full of tens of thousands of dead fish.
At one point, folks here say the carpet of dead fish spanned the entire Shinnecock Canal.
Just totally bizarre.
A distance of as much as 180 feet across. Marina worker Kelly Gibson says it was a sight she'd never seen in a lifetime living and working on the water.
I was like, oh my God, what's happening? Really, like, what's happening?
They're not just floating on top of the water, they're actually stuck on the bottom of it.
And you have bird and fish kills, which is from the release of methane because of the activity of the tectonic plates shifting.
Strong winds and dry weather, part of Haifa's skyline has been transformed by fire. The billowing smoke forcing the authorities to order tens of thousands of people to leave the city. Many homes have already been destroyed. The main highway between Israel's third biggest city and Tel Aviv was closed for some time, while teams tried to put out the flames as they gained ground on residential areas. The wildfires have struck an area close to Jerusalem, with some property already lost to the blaze. Homes have also been damaged in part of the occupied West Bank.
More than 70 wildfires stretch across 8 southern states. Those fires have already charred more than 100,000 acres and forced evacuations. In North Carolina, flames are threatening at least 1,700 structures.
We have California wildfires in North Carolina.
From the flames, massive plumes of smoke. So much that dozens of counties are facing air quality advisories. A view from NASA shows the extent of the smoke. Some of it has started to drift into the metro Atlanta area. Dry conditions and severe drought that plague much of the region. Nearly 40% of the Southeast is facing drought, including 3/4 of Alabama and half the state of Georgia.
Conditions are terrible. It's so dry. Even just tossing a cigarette out in your front yard can cause a fire.
I've lived here all my life, 65 years. Never seen it like it.
Oh, shit. God. Oh, God, it was a beautiful habitat. Oh, shit. Go, go, go. The flat right here. Go, 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 go. Not one single warning on the news, and you're telling me nobody knew almost every cabin in Chalet Village is burning to the freaking ground.
The governor is calling it the largest forest fire in Tennessee in 100 years, responsible for at least 3 deaths.
Completely gone.
torching hundreds of homes and businesses. More than 14,000 forced to flee the resort towns of Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge.
We were dealing with 70-mile-per-hour winds. It just exploded.
Turn next tonight to a neighborhood on alert in the ground disappearing today. One, as you're about to see, this has become an all too common problem.
Has when they look outside their sliding glass doors and into their backyard. Saturday night, the ground in their backyard gave way, opening a hole at least 40 feet wide and 30 feet deep.
We see an 800% rise in earthquake activity. And these are all changes that's going on all at the same time.
It struck just after midnight. A powerful 7.5 magnitude earthquake rocking the South Island. It hit in North Canterbury near Hanmer Springs, and it was felt right across the country. It triggered more than 100 aftershocks and sparked a tsunami warning for the entire East Coast. Waves of 2.5 meters were recorded, the highest tsunami waves New Zealand has seen in close to 40 years.
What the is going on?
Hast thou seen the treasures of the hail, folks, which I have reserved against the time of trouble, against the day of battle?
Scream in terror, for the day of the Lord has arrived. The time for the Almighty to destroy. Every arm is paralyzed with fear. Every heart melts, and people are terrified. Pangs of anguish grip them like those of a woman in labor. They look helplessly at one another, their faces aflame with fear. For see, the day of the Lord is coming, the terrible day of his fury and fierce anger. The land will be made desolate, and all the sinners destroyed with it.
I watched as the Lamb opened the first of the 7 seals. Then I heard one of the 4 living creatures say in a voice like thunder, "Come! Come and see!"
then everyone, the kings of the earth, the rulers, the generals, the wealthy, the powerful, and every slave and free person, all hid themselves in the caves and among the rocks of the mountains. And they cried to the mountains and the rocks,
"Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of their wrath has come, and who can withstand it?" Everything they built will fall, and from the ashes of their world, we'll build a better one. Goddamn America! Goddamn America! Goddamn America!
I saw the end of the world. I could feel all this death.
Yahshua.